I got to share this story with you because I feel like this is so important for coaches. Because given the fact that coaching is still a relatively new industry, we have some added responsibilities as coaches building our practices as independently operating entrepreneurs. We need to know this very important fact, which is that most people don't know how to ask us for our service. So we need to listen in a really unique and special way. Like we need to hear people not asking the questions that they should be asking for themselves, of us. For example, and this story is really a combination of two really, truly, incredibly valuable tools. One is slowing down. I have a video on that one. Look for that. Solid. And the other is post-game routine, which I will have a video on that one soon. All right, so here's the story. I was invited to lunch by a former client, somebody that I coached, a business owner, years ago. And we coached for probably 2 or 3 years. And we stayed in touch, good friends. And we probably have like 1 or 2 lunches a year. And she invited me to lunch, and we met and had a great conversation. And at the very end and this happens a lot, she said something. It's like a lot of times, I remember this was always true when I was doing therapy, when I was a therapist. It was like almost always true that my clients would wait until like the last minute to really bust out with like the most valuable content or the most like important stuff. And I was like, why didn't we start with that? Anyway, she said something like, I don't know, and then like we're paid, we're getting up, we're leaving the restaurant, and she says to me, I don't know whether to hire you to coach my son again or to coach me again on how to parent him. And I didn't say a thing. Like I probably just went, or some shit like that. And we hugged it out and left, and I'm driving home. Okay. So now I'm doing my post game, okay, which I do a lot. I got about a 25-minute drive, so I'm replaying the experience in my mind. I do that a lot. And even with a lunch, I'll replay it and ask myself certain questions like, was I who I wanted to be? Do I believe what I said today? These kinds of fun questions. And always interested in the possibility of growing and learning something from myself. and I got the memory, right, of the very end where she said that thing about, I don't know whether to hire you to coach me on this or coach him or coach me. And I didn't acknowledge it back. And I realized, holy crap, that could have been her reaching out saying, like seriously saying, hey man, can we do some more work? Because people don't know how to say that. So as soon as I got home, the first thing I did was I called her and said, hey, listen, I just like kind of heard you. It was like a delayed response. At the very end, I don't know I don't know if you were asking for anything serious, if you were just kind of casually throwing it out there, but I need to know the answer to that. And I told her what she had said, and she goes, oh yeah, no, I really meant that. I'm like, well, I am so glad I'm calling you back, and I'm totally sorry for not having heard it the right way the first time. All right, let's go, I'm all ears. And now, guess what? We're going back to work. So the lesson is slowing down and the post game. But we'll just focus right now on the slowing down piece. It's a reiteration. I didn't slow down. That was an example of me not slowing down enough to hear correctly, right? And the other lesson from this is that our prospects often don't know how to ask the right questions or how to be directive enough with themselves to even ask the question. Like we cannot, as coaches, building our practices, rely on people to say shit like, hey, I need coaching from you. In fact, I seriously think the only people that say that are coaches themselves. I got a text from a friend who's a coach last week saying, hey man, you got a minute? I could use some coaching on this. Only coaches say that. Right? The normal people, they don't know how to say that yet, right? They'll just drop hints, and that's why we got to listen so well. We have to listen with a deeper hearing so that we hear what is behind that. so we can respond appropriately. All right, play with that. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon.